Hello class, please simmer down, simmer down. My name is Dr. Philip Wankel. I'll be your teacher today. It is September 1991. This is your first day back to school, so welcome. My class is Computers and Technology, and I'm going to be teaching you today how to type on a keyboard. So, is there anyone in class today that has any experience with typing on a keyboard? Oh yes, you right here, young man. What's your name?
Yeah, my name's Jason. I have a computer at home. I play a lot of games on it. It's a Packard Bell 166 megahertz processor with 128 of MB of RAM. It's really fast.
Wow, that is quite a workhorse. And because of that, you're gonna have a nice head start in my class. Okay, children, please direct your attention to the front of the classroom on the projector screen. I have a question for you all. Who here likes Super Mario?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Principal Zahner, that was a question for the children.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it was.
Well, if you love Super Mario, you're gonna love this. Dim the lights, roll the film.
Oh, yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is September 2010 with all the boys and girls, teenagers and adults going back to prison, or excuse me, I mean school, college, the dorm rooms, the classrooms, the junior highs, the high schools. Either way, I am Jason Heine, and friends, I am the school. So please join me as you all roll back to your new classroom. Join me in 1991 with Mario Teaches Typing.
Welcome to Mario Teaches Typing.
Now, through the years, there's been tons of software and programs made to help children learn how to type on a keyboard. And to be honest, I've been out of elementary school a very long time, but when I was in school, I believe it was in the 6th grade is when I took a computer class and they actually would teach us how to type. Now, do you think I or any of my classmates were lucky enough to have Mario himself teach us? Absolutely not. Now, when we were learning how to type, it was a very interesting process because our teacher would come in and we'd all sit around this classroom. It had like 10 tables. They were all the length of the classroom, and we sat down. We had Apple IIes. He would come in and he had this weird program that he would use. I don't know if it was an Apple product or if it was some third party. I honestly don't know. But he had this typing program. What he would do is he would come around, tell us all to put our hands on the home row, and then he would come in with a piece of paper and tape. I shit you not. He would come in and he would tape down paper over the tops of our hands so we wouldn't look at our hands, right? And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Of course, I'm like, I don't know what. There's so many keys on this thing. You know, back then, you look at a keyboard, there was a lot of keys. It was kind of overwhelming. And I was like, there's just too many keys. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I kind of would sneak and peek a little bit. But then sometimes he would come around and slam the paper down and be like, no looky, no looky. Be like, whatever. Screw you, man. But anyway, that was my experience with learning how to type as a youngster. Now, I didn't have any awesome, gnarly, radical, dutiful programs like Mario Teaches Typing to help me. I guess I was too busy playing Duke Nukem or something. Yeah, that's actually correct. I totally was.
Get back to work, you slacker.
Either way, this game was actually kind of scarce back in the day. You see, it really wasn't readily available. It was released for MS-DOS in 1991. And then 4 years later, in 1995, it was released for Microsoft Windows and Macintosh. This game did spawn a sequel, Mario Teaches Typing 2, that was released later on in 1997. Alright, so this game is exactly as you would expect it to be. You load in your name and then go in and start typing. It starts off very basic, very low words per minute settings. Yeah, you just pick a character and jump right into it. And as you can see in the gameplay here, you just press the key and then Princess here hits the block, destroys it, and moves on to the next one. So as long as you time everything correctly, you progress through the levels and meet your quota of words per minute and move on to the next round, where it incorporates more keys and more rows. Then once you meet your quota and the level's completed, you get greeted by Mario, who says,
Congratulations, you made it!
And then I noticed right off the bat that that is not Mario. Not at all. And after doing a little bit of digging, I find out that for some reason in this game, Mario was voiced by some dude named Ronald Rubin. And that some reason is actually very clear. You see, the Mario we know and love today is voiced by actor and voice talent Charles Martinet. Charles got that role in 1995. This game was released in 91. And now how bad can it get? Because there's no music in this game. There's not even sound effects. The only sounds in this game is this Ronald Rubin telling us, oh, congratulations! Holy moly! I'm in love with the EMU review! And oh, you made it! I mean, it seems like a good game. You know, everything's cool. Everyone's happening. Everyone's having fun. Look at the sun up there. He's chilling. He's happy. He's kicking it. We got a few clouds here, a few thunderheads rolling through. You know, we got Got Peach, Princess Peach right here, you know, kicking it. But lastly, to top it all off, when you do real bad and you don't pass the level, good old Mario says this to you.
Too bad. Perhaps you should try again.
And I'm like, perhaps you should shut your mouth and bring in Charles in the vocal booth, dude. Back up off me. That's right. I'm calling it out. I'm calling it forth. I want a remake, man. Now, I don't mean to be hitting this game hard or anything. That's not what I want to do. There's just a few weird things about it, but it's not supposed to be like an adventure game for crying out loud. So it's a typing game for children. So, you know, it does its job. But hello, the game was designed and published by Interplay. Does that ring a bell to anybody? Interplay? That fantastic company that brought us games like Blackthorn. Out of This World. And the oh-so-hilarious Clay Fighter series of games. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but back in the day when I would rent games, I would look to find the Interplay logo because I just knew those games were greatness. I really did. And I'm just talking about the retro games. I'm not even discussing the more current titles. You know, so then years later when I finally saw this game, I was kind of like, what's the deal? All right, so who's in the mood to learn some more with Mario?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. How about the early years with Mario? Fun with Letters. This was the game released for the Super Nintendo in the summer of 1993. It was one of the few educational games for the Super Nintendo. It's basically Mario, Peach, and Yoshi traveling around island to island, learning about grammar and letters, stuff like that. It has actually quite a few different modes of play and quite a few things to do. And the kid who says all the letters is just classic.
Apple. A for apple.
A. Apple. B. Bowser. C. Crazy cat. D. Dancing dinosaur. E. Elephant. F. Fish.
There was also a Mario's Early Years Fun with Numbers game released, which was basically identical, just substitute now numbers, released in 93, and then Mario's Early Years Preschool Fun released in 94 because it was just so successful. I'm telling you, any video game that has any relation to preschool really makes me want to slam my basketballs in the corridor, I'll tell you.
Do it again.
Now, looking back to all the educational games that were available with Mario in them, I mean, maybe there weren't a whole bunch for the Super NES, but there were a ton of them to go around. Yeah, had Super Mario Brothers and Friends When I Grow Up. You had Mario's Game Gallery. There was, Mario's Time Machine. Oh, I Am a Teacher, Super Mario Sweater, which was released for the Famicom Disk System. And then there was also Mario's Missing, can't forget that one, which was based around geography. So, hey, you know, you got to give them credit for trying to teach our youth, you know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, heck, as long as you just drop the Super NES in the daycare and let them play, I mean, what harm is that? So, ladies and gentlemen, with September upon us and everyone going back to school and college, I wanted to do an educational themed video. I hope you've enjoyed it. You know, in my personal opinion here, oh yeah, and I'm going to get deep on you again, so have a seat. Welcome to Jason's Moments. Today is a completely different world. Just as in 5, 10, 20 years, it will be totally different then. But the thing is I don't even know that they teach typing anymore because typing on a computer is just like second nature. I mean, children are on computers and they're on them all day long. But by the time you get into like elementary school, you already know how to type and do all that stuff. You know, and back in the day, the technology just wasn't there quite yet. Computers were kind of a taboo thing, and they were very expensive. My parents were lucky enough to be able to buy one for the family. Our first computer was a Macintosh Performa 450. If I got any old school Mac heads out there, hit me up on that. It was a great computer. I still have it, and it still works perfectly. And then we migrated over to the PC world and Windows with a, and the story at the beginning is true, it was a Packard Bell 166 megahertz. It had 128 megs of RAM, and it had a, I think it was a 5 gig hard drive. That was insane for the time. So, but getting back to the point, I wanted to show these games because I know they weren't really readily available, and they were only available for DOS and then Mac. And then by the time they kind of got popular, other games were coming out and kind of got overshadowed by it all. So, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of this old school Mario stuff. Any Mario collector would enjoy seeing this for sure. It is definitely a classic title. Not one that I would recommend sitting and playing because, gosh, it's just so boring. But hey, it is an educational typing game, not supposed to do anything other than that. So what more can I tell you? How am I supposed to grade a game like this? Grade an educational teaching game? Gosh, if I don't give it an A, I feel like I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. So how about I be safe and do it like this?
This game gets an